looks like we already got a good number tuned in for our third and unfortunately kind of bittersweet, our final webinar of the fall fundraising season. If you missed our first two webinars, by the way, I just want to say this at the top. Don't worry, we're going to send you a link to those when you get the recording of this one. For those of you who are new here, I'm Maggie, I'm the marketing director. I'll be asking a lot of the questions today, but really our subject matter expert is Miss Kayla Karn. She's here joining us. Kayla, welcome. Go ahead and tell us kind of what we can expect here today.
Hey y'all, I am Kayla and I work in marketing and I've worked in marketing and social media for over a decade. I am the social media manager here at Get Movin' Fundraising, and I have done it all. I've been a content director, copywriter, editor, travel blogger, you name it. And as Get Movin' social media manager, I help our team connect and partner with schools all across the country. Now, before we get into the good stuff, let me share two key statistics with you, and they both have to do with our favorite subject, fundraising. First, when schools use social media, event attendance increases by 20% and participation climbs by 30%. That means when you use social media in a savvy way during your fundraising efforts, you can increase involvement in a huge way just by sharing some photos and videos. Second, studies show that schools who have an active social media presence raise on average 50% more than schools who don't use social media. So bottom line, that's huge. I mean, you
that's
hear
a very
those
big
numbers,
statistic.
and then you think about what that looks like in real life. If somebody came up to you right now and said, you could, by 50% increase the participation of people in your fundraisers, you would be like, where could I sign up? So here's the good news. You don't need to be a social media manager in order to get your school and get your community involved on social media. The whole purpose of this webinar is to make this as stress-free and easy breezy as possible. So we are going to show you how any parent group and any leader can create and share exciting, informative content in a fun and engaging way.
Right. That doesn't stress you out. I think the stress-free is almost maybe the most important part of this webinar, because I mean, social media can feel, if you're just getting started, like it can feel kind of daunting. So that's why I actually, before we get into, we kind of break down sort of the three keys to doing this well and without it taking up just like so much of your time, right? Because we know that you guys are all volunteers doing this. But before we do that, I do just kind of want to do a question for the group, everybody who's joined here live with us. Feel free to put your answer in the chat, but I'm curious if you are on social media for your PTO or your PTA, whichever kind of group you help run, which platforms do you use? Are you primarily on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Are you super young and edgy and you're on TikTok? Like, where are you at in the social media world? And then also, are you the one that's managing that, or do you have somebody else on your team helping to, manage all of your social media posts? Like Kayla said, we're not expecting that any of you are professionals or even influencers, although that's very fun. And if you are, let us know.
Let us know so we can follow you.
Exactly. And honestly, some of you might even feel a little intimidated. And I kind of said this at the beginning as well, just by the process and just kind of not maybe knowing where to start. And so that's really what we're going to try to offer here today with this webinar, is really not just basics, but really kind of like, what are the strategies to do this well and to do it without it taking up so much of your time? So Kayla, go ahead and kind of walk us through what we are suggesting are sort of the three keys to social media success.
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 key things for social media success. The first one, gotta have a plan. And y'all know how important a plan is. We're here because we love to plan, right? So a content calendar is just another word for having a plan for your social media posts. So instead of trying to think of something fun and exciting and engaging every single time you open your phone to post, you can use a content calendar to take a look ahead at what's coming up for your school. So all schools have things like spirit days or fundraising kickoffs, things like holidays, and you get to decide what you would like to share. So this way you are not scrambling last minute, or if you are, this isn't why. So having a content calendar helps you to spread out your posts so that your group shows up consistently in parent social media feeds. It also makes it easier to generate excitement in the days and weeks before big events, because you might know that something is happening, but that that knowing and that excitement, it might not make it onto the computer if you don't have a plan.
Yeah.
So think about your content calendar like a roadmap, right? Like it keeps you organized, it saves you time, and it makes sure your community stays engaged.
Now, before we go on, I asked that question for the chat, kind of where are you on social media? Seeing a lot of Facebook, which is not surprising at all. That's what we see as well, kind of connecting with schools and parent groups. Facebook is really the place to be. It's the easiest place to connect with parents. It's where most families have a personal profile as well, most parents. So that's the place that's easiest to connect. Instagram is also a great one, and I love it. We'll kind of talk about this when we talk more about content, but it's such a visual platform, which as a parent group, like that's the stuff that really generates the interest is when you post pictures of like your teachers, your events and stuff like that. So that's not too surprising there. I see personal TikTok. That makes sense. I think TikTok's a little harder because it is so video driven. I see Linktree mentioned here, which I think we'll mention a little bit later, but that's a really key thing if you do have Instagram to also have a Linktree, but we'll kind of talk about that relationship in a little bit. And then it sounds like most of the people who are tuned in are the ones managing the account. So that makes sense. This is the place where you should be. And your role might vary. I'm not sure what roles everybody has who's tuned in here. But the person typically managing social media and of course managing the content calendar, it can vary per school. So you can kind of see some options here. You might have a communications chair. It could be your group secretary. You might have a dedicated social media chair, which I love that. And if all else fails, of course, it just falls down to the president or the VP. Especially if your group is a little bit smaller. But I think today you'll kind of see as well how to maybe delegate some of those responsibilities. As we go through these 3 keys, you may think like, oh, I manage social, but it'd be great if I had this volunteer really help with the calendar and things like that. So let's keep going here, Kayla. Talk to us about our second key to success.
Second key to success is a fun graphic or a video plus a caption. So these things, graphic or video plus a caption, that's what we call media. So I said that you didn't need to be a social media manager. Yeah, now you're learning some of the lingo. So that's what we call media. So posts with photos and videos usually stand out way more than plain old text. And it's a really easy way to stop people when you are in the infinite scroll. You see a picture, you see a video, you're more inclined to pause and see what's going on. So different social media platforms tend to prefer certain types of media. So for example, on Facebook, posts with photos or short videos usually perform better than just plain old status updates. Instagram, like Maggie was saying, is highly visual. So graphics, photos, short videos, those do really well there. And then you have TikTok, if you're super hip and trendy, it's almost entirely video driven. At times you'll see photos that you swipe through, but when you think of TikTok, you think of a video. Even on platforms like X, aka Twitter, a post with an image or a GIF usually gets much more engagement than just plain text. And while social media trends are ever changing, some basics stay the same. So posts and photos that show real people, think of your students, your teachers, your staff, those always get more interaction. And videos are really, really powerful, particularly videos that are under 60 seconds. They get twice as much engagement than longer ones. And that's something else it's good to know, because you might think that the more the better. That's not always the case. So 60 seconds or less, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah, key takeaway, when you are sharing things on social media, whenever you can, add a visual element. It will help your post get seen and shared more.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then our last key to success here, and we are going to go more in depth. This is just, we're just kind of laying out the foundation for what we're going to kind of dive into here at the webinar.
Last thing that you need is a way to schedule. So, AKA a scheduling platform. So, a way to schedule posts that can make social media way less stressful. So, think about when you are posting on social media. Maybe it's like a spur of the moment thing. Instead of having to open your phone or open your computer every single time you have a brilliant idea or you think, oh my gosh, it's been 5 days, like we haven't posted anything, having a
Yeah.
scheduling app can just take all the sweat out of that. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to invest like a pocket of time each week, then you don't even have to worry about being able to get your content out in front of people. It's kind of like set it and forget it. So
Right.
this saves time, it helps you stay consistent, and consistency is also another way to make sure that what you post on social media continually shows up in parents' feeds. Social
Yep.
media loves a consistent poster.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of the if you've been on social media, you've probably heard of the algorithm, all of the math
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes that decides where your posts land on an individual's feed. And Kayla, that's a great point. If you're posting consistently, the algorithm loves that, and your post will be seen by more of your followers, more of the families from your school. All right, great. So Keela mentioned the first key to keeping social media simple is, of course, to have your content calendar. A calendar really helps your group stay consistent, avoid those last minute scrambles we all know and don't love. What we do at Get Moving, so a lot of what we're going to say here, it comes from our actual experience, like what we personally do at our company. So we build out our calendar every month. So for September, we already have our October calendar built out. That's ideal. That's great. Maybe it's too ambitious. If that's like intimidating to you, don't feel like you have to build it a month out. It could be, a couple weeks out is also fine. Remember, it's just having a plan for what you're going to post. And it's also putting it in a place that people have access to within your team, because you want to keep everybody in the loop. Not necessarily, it's not something you share with your followers, but it's something you're sharing with the rest of like your PTO board, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have your calendar on like a Google Doc, you could have it on a Google Calendar, like maybe a specific calendar that then people can opt into is another good idea. And then to make it easier, actually, you'll see here this visual as part of registering for this webinar. We're going to just kick things off, get things started for you. This is a template of a calendar that you can use, and you're going to receive this with the recording of the webinar as well tomorrow. So Kayla, they've got their calendar in place. What do they do now? How are they plugging in content?
Yeah, awesome. Also, love a freebie. Love that. How fun.
We try to offer that as much as possible. We're very giving here at Get Moving.
Yeah, we like to give away cool stuff. Okay, so you want to start with a brainstorm. And this is where, especially if you are, like the one person who's in charge of generating the ideas, you can bring some people into the fold with this. You can say, hey, come help me, let's make some fun stuff. So set
Yeah.
aside some time with your team to write down the big things that are happening at your school. It could be everything from teachers' birthdays to when the fundraisers are happening, how you want to recruit volunteers, student events like trunk or treat, things like that. So once you have your list, your big idea, break each item into smaller buckets. For
Mm-hmm.
example, if you're having a fundraiser, we're not just going to post about it one time, right? We're going to post about it multiple times, and we're going to find different ways to say the same thing. So you could have a save the date, and then you have a call for volunteers. You have your kickoff promo. You have progress updates. People love knowing that, money is being raised and the goal is being
Mm-hmm.
accomplished. And then eventually you continue to roll things out, ending with a wrap-up post. Each of these is a separate piece of content that comes out of that bucket that you can pepper across your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of thinking in buckets, they're just categories of posts. So you could have one bucket this is my bucket here. Fundraising updates.
Your virtual bucket.
Exactly, my virtual bucket. I'm big on metaphors, y'all. So you have fundraising updates, progress towards your fundraising goals, incentives. You have shout outs, thank yous, where you recognize volunteers and fundraising superstars, sponsors. You have event recaps. That could be a highlight, a short video reel. You have volunteer spotlights where you feature super helpful people who are lending a hand, school spirit and community posts. A lot of schools have fun traditions, student victories, holidays. Something else that's really fun about this one in particular is parents love to share when their kids are being featured. So that's also a really great way to drive engagement.
For sure.
A way to make it even easier, theme your days. Assign each weekday to a bucket so you know what's coming every single day, week after week. So on Monday, maybe that's when you do volunteer spotlight. Tuesday, fundraising update. Wednesday, school spirit, community post. On Thursday, maybe you post a shout out. And on Friday, that's when you do a big fundraiser push or an event recap. So this really takes the guesswork out of social media planning. And so instead of every Sunday when you're, trying to relax with your family and you're thinking, man, like, what should I post this week? Your team already has a framework and it makes planning your content calendar so much easier.
Yeah, you're basically, when you're filling out your calendar, right, you're quote unquote filling your buckets. If you've decided Monday, like I love the idea of Monday is your spotlight days, then if you're looking at October, there's probably 4 Mondays, then you're thinking, okay, who are the 4 teachers or volunteers or students that we want to spotlight? And so when you're breaking it down into kind of more detailed categories and things, it just makes it a whole lot easier and a whole lot less intimidating, I think, too, building out that calendar. Yeah, really good stuff. Okay, so you've got your calendar, you've got it mapped out. Now you have to actually make the posts themselves, which I would say is maybe one of the more, I would say the most intimidating aspect of it, especially if you're not used to
100%.
Going out and creating, visuals or taking pictures or getting video. I think for parent group leaders that are just starting out, this can feel like a little oh my gosh, I don't know what visual to post for my fundraiser updates. And so that actually is one of the things, talk about freebies. If you work with us and you do utilize FundHub, which is our donation platform for your event fundraiser, we actually provide a bunch of social media packages. And so if you're running a fun run, you can open up the fun run social media package or readathon, dance-a-thon, whichever event type. We have them built for different events. And you basically open up I'm calling it a package because within that, there's at least 20 posts that you can go in and update with your event details, your school colors. We do this through Canva, which Kayla's about to mention as well for some other things. But they're all pre-made for you. So it really saves a lot of time. If you're interested in seeing either our social media posts or just FundHub in general, feel free to drop demo in the chat, DEMO, and we'll get you kind of a behind the scenes look after the webinar. Kayla, what are some other tools? I kind of already alluded to some, but what are some more tools that parent groups can use?
Yeah, so before we, continue on, Canva is a great tool. And I think, like you were saying, a lot of the intimidation comes in when people start realizing that they need to be the one to create graphics, right? We all know what a good graphic looks like, but creating one, that's a totally different animal. So the best news that you're going to hear today is you don't need to be a graphic designer or a social media guru to create amazing graphics. So hence Canva. Canva is a free online platform that allows you to create photos, graphics, and videos, both for free, and they also have a pro plan where you can include up to 5 team members for about $13 a month. So not only will you have access to professional looking graphics, you can invite members of your PTO or PTA team to also partner with you in creating these graphics. There's also something called CapCut. And
Mhm.
CapCut is a free, easy to use video editor. It's available both on desktop and on mobile. It's perfect for trimming clips, for adding captions or adding text to video, or pairing your video with music. Another one that we love and that a lot of people love, Unsplash and Pexels. So I don't know about y'all, sometimes you have a lot of amazing photos of your staff and of students, and sometimes, especially in the colder months, those pictures aren't looking too fun, and you want to supplement them with something a little bit more upbeat. Unsplash and Pexels are two sites that you can access, again, on your computer or on your phone, and photographers and artists upload photos from everything from school fundraisers to kids playing outside, art class,
Mhm.
you dream it, they have it.
It's also
So let's talk.
good. I just want to mention, sorry, not to interrupt, but I want to
Oh,
mention it.
you're
It could be
good.
you also don't have permission sometimes too.
Hmm.
I just think like since we're talking to parent group leaders in schools, like maybe there's something like where your school doesn't allow any images of kids on social
Yeah.
media. You like actual students. And so this just helps like if you are trying to post about your fun run, right? It'd be great to post pictures of kids running. So these are just some good resources where you can still get the visuals without feeling like your hands are tied because of, school or perhaps district-wide rules that you might kind of be dealing with as well. And
Hmm.
then Keela, go into, I know you're about to kind of jump into some also pro tips, which I
Yeah.
definitely want to hear about too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Maggie. So let's get into some pro tips when posting on social media. So we've said it before, but we'll say it again. Videos are going to give you the biggest splash. Even a
Mhm.
short 30-second clip is going to do wonders for your engagement. No video, no problem. Photos work too, especially ones of smiling, happy faces. Every single algorithm, I mean, this doesn't matter across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. This is one universal rule. If it's a picture of a person, it's going to get moved to the top of the feed. We love seeing smiling faces. If you want to kick things up a notch, and if you're feeling like you might want to level up your social media game, you can layer in things like trending audio, also known as, trending music or songs that are popular online. You can also add relevant hashtags, location tags, which is a feature where you find a location on Instagram or Facebook and tag that as well. And
Mhm.
then tagging your featured PTO parents or your school so that it might also appear on their page as well.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to kind of digging into a little bit of the third key, which is scheduling, which in the business we call set it and forget it. It's a great tool, whether you're doing social media professionally like Kayla or you're doing it just as a volunteer. It's essential that you're not having to go on every single day to post. Nobody has time for that. So scheduling is really important, and there are some free tools. So it's not like you have to go and pay, for a platform to do it for you. There's some built-in tools that you probably already have access to. Maybe you've already started dabbling in them or you use them yourself. So the first is the Meta Business Suite. So for those who don't know, Meta is basically the umbrella company over Facebook and Instagram. So we already saw in the chat that majority of us have Facebook and or Instagram pages for our PTO, PTA, or school. So you do have access to this. Basically, what you can do is go into the business suite and you can schedule up to 30 days in advance, which is amazing. Probably none of us are going to have content 30 days in advance, but the capability is there. And it just saves a whole lot of time. And like I said, it's free and already built in. Buffer is also a platform. They have both free and paid accounts, but I think for parent groups, the free account absolutely is fine. You don't really need to pay. You can connect up to 3 accounts and you can schedule 10 posts at a time. So if you're just scheduling for the week ahead, you're set. You can do that with a free buffer account. If you're like us and you want to pay for something a little bit more fancy, so we personally use Loomly, and that's just because we do a whole lot more on social media. We're on more platforms, we're a business, so it's a little bit different. But Loomly is great. It's really user friendly. I mean, Kayla, you're the one who's on it all the time. You can probably attest to
Super easy.
it.
Super
Yeah,
easy. It took
it's
me a
really
day to
easy to
learn it.
use. Exactly. And what you'll get with the paid, kind of what's the difference between free and paid. It's you can sometimes add more team members to a paid account that maybe you can't do for something that's free. So if you are managing your social with, between 3 people or something like that, that's very nice. You can give them access to your scheduling platform. The other thing is they sometimes provide like analytics. Like one cool thing with Loomly is they actually, I think through AI, Kayla, I'm assuming, kind of go through our content and give us suggestions on future content based on what has done very well. So based on, what's gotten the most likes, the most comments, it'll suggest similar content so that we can keep up that engagement. There's some other options on here. These are also paid, but just some more options in case you're kind of shopping around for a scheduling platform.
All right, let's talk now about scheduling because if y'all
Actually,
are, oh,
sorry, we have one more thing before we do that. It's another FundHub plug, so I definitely want to mention it. It's a tool that can save a lot of time because when we're talking about scheduling, we're talking about saving time, right? And so we have share tools on FundHub. So I definitely want to take kind of a second to mention them here. It's not scheduling posts, it is different. But if you're hosting your fundraiser on FundHub, your parents, as well as yourself, as well as your teachers, have access to these instant share tools. So you can share your student fundraising webpage, or your parents can, on any of these social media platforms, and they can do it. I mean, get out your phone, you do it with a click of a button. It takes 2 seconds. And so that really, really helps if you are organizing your fundraiser. I mean, Kayla, remember those statistics? We're talking 50% raising more. So like it's worth having something, I think, built into your platform that can really help them, help you kind of really spread the word on social and really equip your parents to do it as well. That's really the key here. Okay, Kayla, I cut you off. Go ahead. Tell us more about what we can do with our scheduled posts here.
Oh, there's so much good stuff. I just wish
I
we
know.
could riff on everything for like 20 minutes. Okay, so we've talked about scheduling, and if y'all are anything like me, if you just decided to leave scheduling up to when you thought about it, you would be posting at 4:30 in the morning and 10:30 at night after your kids went to bed. So once you've chosen a scheduling tool, the magic happens in how you use it. Scheduling is important because you want to stay consistent while also making your posts meaningful. So some quick scheduling tips for y'all. Pick a consistent day to load your posts into your scheduler for the coming week. So earmark one day a week where you take everything that you've created and you put it up there so that it starts coming out the following week. Use your content calendar like a checklist. You can drop each planned post straight into your scheduler. And then this is really important. Always preview your content before you post it, because once it's out there, especially if it's across a bunch of different platforms, it is a real pain to go back and to correct and edit things. So just double check before you hit schedule. And then another thing, post at the times when families are most likely to get on and see your content. So think about when you get on your phone, maybe first thing in the morning, here on lunch break, things like that. And then you want to make it a conversation. Every time you post something and then somebody responds, let them know that you see them engaging with you, whether that's liking, loving the comment, or even just responding back, thank you, or a set of emojis. Every single comment and reaction on social media gets taken into account when the algorithm is deciding what to prioritize.
The holy algorithm loves it when you
Yes,
respond to
Big Brother algorithm. And posts that encourage comments. If you have something in the caption that says, like this post, or drop something below, that also works really well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. The other thing I actually want to tack on to that, because it definitely goes hand in hand, is creating some sort of action as well. So if you are, posting about your fundraiser is a good example, include the link to donate. Like that's very, very key. Our social tools do that automatically, so you don't have to think about it. But even if you're promoting something else, so like some other upcoming event and you need volunteers, always include the link to sign up in your captions, because as much as we want to get the likes and the comments and we want to, get that hype on social, really at the end of the day, what we want is engagement. And that typically involves some sort of action. So if you have a link, definitely always put it in your caption. There's no such thing as doing too many links in a row. Like
Yes,
always put it in your caption if you have one.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. And then before we wrap, so we are at time, but we have just a little bit more we want to go over. So if you're able to stick with us, awesome. If you do have to jump, don't worry. Like I said, this is being fully recorded and you're going to get it tomorrow morning as well. But I do want to kind of shift gears. We've talked a lot about planning, creating content, but let's talk about kind of growing your audience because depending on where you guys kind of are at with your pages, you might have a really huge audience. They engage with everything. Obviously, that's ideal and that's great. But if you're in a social media webinar, probably you might be a little bit on the other end of the spectrum where you get some engagement, you have some followers, but you're really interested in growing those followers. So there's a few kind of keys on this slide that you can definitely incorporate right away. The first is like at your family events, having a QR code visible. So whether that's on a flyer, a poster, whichever kind of material is visible to your parents, having a QR code on there that goes to your social page. So if you're trying to drive, followers for Facebook, all you have to do is go to your page, copy and paste the link, go to any free QR code generator. I mean, Kayla, I'm sure there's tons of them.
Oh,
yes. Right. Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. This is a free thing you can do.
Canva, if you have Canva Pro, also lets you do that.
That's true. We do love Canva here. So you can create a QR code for that. And then basically, as your parents are coming through the trunk or treat line or your turkey trot, whatever, they can scan that and it automatically takes them to your page and then they can like it right from there. So that's really, really great. The other thing is to just think about like, how are you already communicating with parents? Do you send out an email? Do you have my son gets like kind of take home stuff every Friday. And so it's really important on there, even if you don't have a QR code, to at least have your handle, which is just like what your profile, your page name is. The third thing we've already talked about, so I won't get into super detail, but making shareable content, right, Kayla? Like the shout outs, Kayla talked about the student pictures, if you're allowed to do that. That's the stuff that parents really want to share. Also just encouraging like your teachers and staff to like engage with your content. If you do have any teacher focused events, making sure you also invite them to like your page because they're really big for engagement as well. And then of course, tagging and following other pages, including yours truly, Get Moving, like I said, and like Kayla knows, we are active on social. We do post a lot of fun, really informative, really educational stuff. We already said we love freebies. We do have a giveaway we're going to talk about in a little bit, active right now. So make sure you get on social and follow us as well. So those are some kind of easy starting points. Kayla, what's some other good ways to kind of grow followers on social?
Yeah. So Maggie just shared some really awesome ways to get more eyes on your page. Once you have built that foundation, the next step is to layer in strategies that make families excited to follow along. So one of the first things we'll talk about is a simple giveaway. Just a couple of days ago on our own page, we did a very simple $50 gift card giveaway, and we already have almost 200 comments on that post. So even just a small prize goes a long way. Ask your families to follow and like or tag a friend to enter. You can also host a fun contest. So think photo challenges and spirit wear or training for the fun run. You can use challenges to drive engagement. So challenges give families something really fun to rally around and to check back up on. This could be a class-to-class competition, a countdown to an event, or a fill the map challenge. So with FundHub, families have access to what's called a 50-state challenge. Once a school receives a donation from every single state, they're automatically entered to win a $1,000 grant from Get Movin'. And then collaboration posts. So this is something that's a little bit newer. So if you're looking to, kind of stay abreast of trends on Facebook and Instagram, you can publish a post jointly with another page by tagging them and making them a collaborator. So on Facebook, you'll tag somebody and it will also show up on their page. On Instagram, it's called collaborating and it will show up on their page and yours. It's one of the easiest ways to expand your reach. So these extras, giveaways, contests, challenges, collaboration posts, they're all designed to help you grow beyond your immediate circle and people that exclusively follow your page.
Yeah, I love the collaboration post because a lot of our, schools we partner with will promote their business sponsors on their social feeds as part of like, hey, if you've helped sponsor our event, one of the things that you get in return is basically a shout out on our social media.
Yeah.
Doing it as a collaboration post is a really great idea because then it shows up on the business's feed as well. So their followers are able to see like, oh, really cool. This business, is supporting one of our local schools. And you might even get some more donations or more sponsors that way. So really, really good technique there. All right, we have gotten to the end here. We're at our Q&A. So I will open it up. If you do have any questions at this point, please go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm kind of going through, see a lot of requests for demo. We will absolutely connect with you guys and make sure you have a link to sign up for that. If you do have any specific questions, go ahead and put them in the chat while you're thinking about that. And I know we are at time, so like we don't have to have any questions if you don't have any. It's really a testament that we've covered everything. While we're getting some more questions in there, I do see one, so we'll definitely check that out in a second. But Kayla mentioned we have a giveaway going on right now, and this is the one I also kind of alluded to. So as many of you know or should know, on Friday, in just a couple of days, we have the National PTO or PTA Appreciation Day. I know, right? Like, congratulations, you guys. You earned a full day. What we're doing is we have a post on both our Facebook and our Instagram pages. So if you go and search for us, we're at Get Moving Fundraising on either place. And basically what we're doing is we're giving 5 groups $50 coffee gift cards. So you can kind of choose which coffee chain is local to your area that you would prefer. It's not just Starbucks. Some of us are Dunkin' fans, like I get it. So what you do to enter, go to our page and try to do it from your PTO page. So that is one of the rules. It has to be from your PTO page or PTA, whichever kind of group you have. Make sure you like our Facebook or Instagram page, whichever platform you're on. Go to the post where it will look like this visual here of this woman with these giant coffee and cookies. Really trying to get the message across here. And all you have to do is comment on that post from your PTO or PTA page. The comment could just be, a coffee emoji. We're not really particular on the comment itself. We're just looking for that engagement. And then if you want a bonus entry, go ahead and tag another school or another parent group page in your comment as well. All right, so we did get a couple of questions, Kayla, if you want to check them out. Let's see. In your experience, do emoji reactions make as much impact as a comment? It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good question. In my experience, they're about the same, but I will say that people are more inclined to respond back and engage with a comment if maybe it's asking a question. So, emojis might be met with emojis or just a like. In order to continue scaffolding engagement, the more that you are interacting with somebody, the better. I mean, think about if you were in a personal conversation, somebody says something to you and you just smile. That might be the end of it. Whereas if you ask something back and continue a back and forth, it builds more engagement.
That's great. And we have a couple of questions about Facebook pages that are private, which is great because a lot of times for PTO or PTA groups that do have a page, sometimes it is private or it could be a group, which is kind of a separate thing. But if they do have a private page and they want to do like a collaboration post, is there a way to kind of get around that? Would it be best just to tag the business in their post rather than trying to do a collaboration? Because I don't think you can if it's private.
Yeah, if it's private, it's not going to the easy answer is it's not going to make a difference because the audience will be limited in who can see it. So it's best to just tag.
Yeah, so just tag that business instead of trying to do a collaboration post.
Exactly.
And then we did have a comment about the giveaway. So this is a really great point. They love it, but it does leave out those who, again, do have private PTA pages. Is that because they can't comment or they can't follow? It might be because they can't comment. or if they
Probably.
have a group. Yeah, if that's the case, if you're running into any roadblocks with trying to enter the giveaway, go ahead and just send us a message on whichever platform you're
Absolutely.
on, and Kayla will connect with you individually. We certainly don't want to leave anyone out. So even if you are just following, okay, they can't follow from a private page. That's the issue.
Okay, I
So
see.
connect with, yeah, I would say send us a message on whichever platform you're on, and Kayla will connect with you, and we'll get you in on the raffle.
Yeah,
Like, don't
it'll be
worry, we're
me
not
that
going to exclude
responds.
anyone.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we're already friends.
exactly. And we are also, for the giveaway, we are doing a live reveal on that on Friday. So that's going to be Miss Kayla on her own on Facebook doing the live reveal of the winners. So we're going to do, like I said, it's a raffle. So we're going to have like a live reveal of who our 5 winners are. So make sure you're tuned into that if you can. It's going to happen 11 a.m. Eastern. That's when we're going to go live, right, Kayla?
Yep,
On
11
Facebook.
a.m.
Okay.
EST.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Kayla has kind of one last thing to say about Fund Hub. I know we had a bunch of demo requests, and then we will go ahead and get on our merry way.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm assuming most of y'all are on lunch break, and that is a sacred time. So we take this really, really seriously. If you are interested, not just in what we were sharing about social media, but also in learning more about Get Moving fundraising and how we can partner with you and your school to make fundraising really profitable and really super fun, you can sign up for an online demo. And the link will be available. Where would that be, Maggie? Where could people
So
find
we'll
that?
connect. So if you put demo in the chat, we're going to connect with you individually via email and make sure that you have access, that you know exactly what to do, how to sign up for that. We basically have an online form, and you pick like where you're located. Like I said, we have fundraising coaches who have all been in your shoes. They are all former or even current parent group volunteers. So they have so much experience helping schools run really, really cool event fundraisers. And so when you do a demo of Fund Hub and you want kind of that behind the scenes, we actually have one of our coaches who would be your personal coach do the demo. So you're not just talking to kind of some random, sales rep or whomever. You're talking to your personal coach, who's also worked with schools probably in your area and kind of can tell you what's been really successful with that as well. And even though they aren't technically social media managers, they also know a lot about social and utilizing the tools on Fund Hub to, of course, help share your fundraiser on social media. So yeah, I see another demo in the chat. Go ahead and just write that in. And like I said, we'll follow up via email.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We really appreciate your time. And like Maggie said, we're looking forward to continuing the conversation. Make sure that you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and, if you're cool, on TikTok. And we look forward to being on this journey with y'all.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye.